Hi everybody, I am ARMR, and what I watched today is Book 3, Chapter 20 of Avatar The Last Airbender, Sozins Comet, Part 3, Into the Inferno. Yep, we're on the second last episode already, how time flies. We start off with Katara and Zuko on their way to confront Azula, and then we transition right to Azula herself being pampered by her attendants and prepared for her coordination. Azula is very merciful, banishing one of her attendants instead of killing them for the crime of leaving a cherry pit in a cherry. She could have died. Yeah, she's in full overreaction mode. We move right over from this to Suki, Toph, and Sokka. Suki comments that the comet is beautiful, but Toph reminds her of the sobering reality, the Fire Lord's plan for that beautiful sight. They arrive almost too late, the airship's taking off in front of them. Thankfully though, Toph manages to launch the three into the sky with a pillar of earth, and onto one of the ships, giving them a fighting chance at their mission. And that scene ends with a shot of the Fire Lord standing ominously at the tip of the leading airship, his cloak billowing in the wind. Sorry, Phoenix Lord at this point. Ozai, however you want to refer to him. We go back to Azula as her Dai Li agents enter the room to attend her. She begins berating them immediately, claiming that in the short time it took them to get there, she could have already been assassinated, hypothetically. And she banishes them too. Basically says, like, well, if I can't trust you to be here immediately and protect me and stuff, then go away. You betrayed your last master as well, so you're obviously going to betray me. Go away. You're banished too. Send the next group in. And after that bit of crazy, we return to Toph and crew breaking into the main cabin of the first airship. Toph breaks down the door and then metal bends it around herself into an armor suit as she starts fighting the cabin crew. In a very impressive display of her power, she takes out the entire crew in moments, showing just what makes her so awesome, as they can't hope to stop the metal master that she is. Sokka steps in saying, "Take the wheel." And even in this high-stakes episode, Toph gives us a great exchange with him. Great idea, have the blind girl fly the airship. I meant Suki. That makes way more sense. I do love that the writers and the characters are keeping their sense of humor even in this situation. As Suki takes the wheel, Sokka instructs her on how they can deal with the rest of the crew on board. He impersonates the captain, and while Suki flies them close to the water, he has all the crew head down to the bomb bay, and then simply dumps them in the ocean. It's a little silly that the crew is that stupid, but I don't know. They are a nation trained to blindly follow orders, so they got their orders. Ah well. Clever move by Sokka, not so clever by the Fire Nation with the whole blind obedience thing. With one airship down, we return to Azula pouting on her throne. We find out that not only did Azula banish the Dai Li, but literally all of her servants and the Imperial Firebenders. Apparently she's doing this because after Mei and Ty Lee, she feels she can't trust anyone. And now she turns on those creepy talking old lady twins from before, accusing them of working for her father and claiming that they're basically saying that he doesn't trust her to rule. She ends up trying to banish one but not the other, but two sisters are confused because even Azula doesn't know which of them is which. And from this, we move on to Iroh as he begins to retake Ba Sing Se. He takes a moment to bask in the power of the comet, breathing in and out as his power flows through him, and the White Lotus warriors stand ready around him. Iroh uses a rather amazing fire blast to blow open the walls, before Bumi moves the rock pillars the soldiers are standing on forward into battle. It's impossible to do this battle scene justice with a mere description. It's supremely well animated and choreographed, with no dialogue but many impressive visuals, as the old masters show us how it is done. And then we go back to Azula. She fixes up her hair herself and gets her fingers caught in the band, because again, she banished all her servants. In her frustration, she simply just cuts her hair, and you can tell she's starting to slip. We get a glimpse into her fragile mind, and we learn that she controls people, even her friends, through fear because she believes that it's the only reliable way. Trust, as she says, is for the weak. And since she can't trust anyone, she only trusts their fear to control them and motivate them to do what she wants. We get this bit through some interesting exposition, a hallucination of her mother. So clearly Azula still has some issues with that. She even says to the hallucination, "Even you fear me." And of course the hallucination mother is just like, "No, I only loved you." Azula destroys her mirror, and we move on to the the Phoenix Lord, as he launches his attack on the Earth Nation. It is impressive, the sheer force and power of it, as he raises the land before him, and the camera pans over to Aang, facing down this approaching wall of fire with a strong, determined stance. Aang sends Momo away and then uses earthbending to disable the Phoenix Lord's airship, forcing him to land. As his ship crashes, Ozai leaps to the rock pillars with a smile on his face. He's ready and he is determined to kill Aang, but Aang is still having his doubts. We get a quick exclamation of relief from Sokka, then a villain monologue from Ozai. Whew. The typical villain trope, right? He just meets the hero or whatnot, and then he starts monologuing. And it's even your typical villain monologue about how destiny is favoring him. And after a generation or two of Fire Lords not being able to find the Avatar, Aang has been delivered to him. This must be a sign from above that from the universe that he is meant to succeed. Mwahaha. Aang tries to reason with him, but we can see where Azula got her crazy from, and this guy is not backing down. As that battle connects, we return to Sokka's group, with Suki wondering if they should be helping Aang. Sokka, however, remembers his goal and refocuses them. Ozai is Aang's fight. Their job is to stop the rest of the Fire Nation fleet from destroying the Earth Kingdom. Sokka begins a plan to stop the airships as they unleash a wall of flame on the Earth Kingdom. It's a chilling sight. I mean, the Phoenix Lord's wall alone was impressive enough, but now with multiple ships doing it at once, it is just chilling. It is scary. Sokka brings their airship around and makes it into a battering ram, aiming it at the fleet and turning everything to max. As the ship shakes apart and slams into the others, Sokka and his group climb to the top of the airship. His aim is true and they cause major damage to the fleet. But as they hit the last couple, Sokka and Toph get separated from Suki as the airship breaks apart. The section they're on launching at the last ship, while Suki jumps to safety on the second to last. So a bit of a tense moment there, but that's where we leave them for this episode. We return to Azula, and so far she has been our plot device for flipping between characters. Zuko and Katara arrive just as Azula is about to be crowned Fire Lord, and Zuko declares that no, she will not be Fire Lord today, he will. Azula laughs at him, challenging him to the duel that she says has been coming all along. Zuko accepts the challenge, an Agni Kai. Instead of having Katara's help, he will now face Azula alone. He senses how far she has slipped, and he is certain he can defeat her. The scene starts off with great staging. Azula, she's all hunched over and predatory. This is used often as visual shorthand for madness and evil, while Zuko is standing strong and sure, shoulders squared and ready to go, an indicator that in this scene he is our hero. He is heroic and strong and ready to defend. Their battle joins, brother and sister, in a showdown for the fate of their nation. It's clear Zuko takes no pleasure in this as he starts. The music as their fight begins is sad and tragic. A reflection of the situation, these two siblings forced to hate and fight by a war they never chose. A war started by their ancestors that they now are responsible for. We switch back to Aang's battle with the Fire Lord, and the music seamlessly becomes less mournful but decidedly tense as they fight for the fate of the world. Ozai pushing Aang back to start. Without the Avatar state or the will to kill, Aang is holding back, and this can prove fatal for him. It very nearly does. Aang managing to redirect the Fire Lord's lightning, and in here he had a moment where he could have struck the Fire Lord down, killed him with his own lightning, but instead he decides not to. He redirects the bolt into the sky, and is so drained by the effort that he falls to his knees. Ozai takes this opportunity and knocks Aang down into the water, the music transitioning back to slow and mournful as we return to the siblings' duel, neither of them gaining any significant ground. You can see Azula's desperation, fear, and madness growing as the brother she had so often mocked as useless counters her every move with cold ease, masking the pain he feels inside at what he must do. Azula desperately tries to strike Katara with her lightning instead of Zuko, but he manages to throw himself into the blast. It looks like he manages to redirect the brunt of it, but some of the lightning still damaged him. After all, this was a quick desperation move to make sure that Katara didn't get hit. He didn't have the time or preparation to redirect it properly. He still took some of the blast. And it leaves him lying on the ground, sparking with energy. And the episode ends on a very tense note. Zuko potentially dead and Aang shielding himself with earth, desperately in fear of Ozai, his confidence shaken. So, we've got one more episode to go. And they have built it beautifully. They're ending this episode on such a tense, scary note. But that just means it'll be that much more fulfilling and that much more exciting when our heroes come through next episode and win the day. Spoilers, I guess, but this series has been out for a long time, and even I know that in the end, the Avatar wins. But I am excited to see how they turn this around and what happens. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.